Hey, what is up, all you beautiful people? My name is Mahia, and I am your blind guide for today. And I want to talk to you about Shiba Inu. But before I get into that huge announcement, which proves we are on the right track, it just validates a lot of the stuff I've been saying recently about them. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you about Shibgotchi. Now, this project is mainly leaned toward GameFi and NFT. Now, one cool there is a few things I saw about this project I liked. This is not one that I am super bullish on, like long term, and it's not one that I've um, done 100% of my due diligence for. But overall, I like what I see. I want to see a little bit more just to kind of get into it. But I definitely did not want to leave this one out because they have some big news coming on the 13th, which is in like, by the time you guys watch this, it might be like just one day from then. But what this project is doing is kind of like how Pucci Inu or what's the other one? Dogami create like these basically like NFT pets that you can interact with. That's kind of what they're doing at Shibgotchi. Except, and this is one thing I really like, they're going to be developing and coming out with a something else you can interact, like a new piece of technology that you can utilize to interact with your Shibgotchi. Like right now, they're saying on mobile or desktop currently, you can pet your dog and stuff like that, but you're going to be able to level them up, which that's pretty good, and you'll be able to, like I said, just interact with them, and I really do like what I've seen as far as that goes, but because um, digital pets are going to be a huge thing, especially for like um, parents that want to give their kid a pet, but they want to have them experience what it would be like to own one. And instead of having them, own an actual pet and maybe not take it out as much or not feed it and water it as much, which is ultimately just bad for the pet. Like, it's not, in my opinion, the best way to teach responsibility unless you are watching, every step of the way and you're making sure you're doing everything you need to take care of that pet. But so this would be kind of a way that kids could get a little bit of a feel. I don't know how far, like if this project is going to try to be like Pucci Inu, where it's all about your metaverse dog. But like I said, I haven't been able to dive deep as I want to into this project. But I have to bring it to your guys' attention because on the 13th they are going to be listed on LBank. And when projects get listed on LBank, especially newer projects, there's usually a run up. Plus, and this is probably what got me most excited, because I'm not considering this one as a long term. Short term, yes, because the market cap is right around $1 million. Now, what would most likely happen is if it went lower than 1 million, then it would kind of either stay in that spot just a little bit of under 1 million, like 800,000 to 900,000. But once you cross that 1 million mark, it's typically it won't go back from there, because whether it be the dev team or the community, they will usually try to keep it above 1 million. Because once it's above 1 million, going to 5, 10, or even 15 million is so easy, but you have to think about that. That is a 15x on your money. $1,000 into 15,000. Like that is a really, really good opportunity. So I didn't want you guys to miss out on that, especially if like this is a project, you've looked up before and you've done a lot of due diligence, but there's so many different crypto projects. It's hard to keep track of all of them. But this one ran way up and it came back down. And as you know, with me, my favorite time to get on a stock, like when everybody's um, fearful or scared or just a lot of FUDs coming out, that is the perfect time to pounce. To get whatever project you're super bullish on, you want to get it then. And especially if it's a tiny, tiny market cap. And since then it's came down, because what happens is something goes up, it does what's called retracement and goes back down. But if it's a good project, it's typically going to make a higher low, and then from there, it could test that all-time high again, and then once it breaks out of that, it's in price discovery. And if this project gets to there, who knows how far it could go. I just know it could do excuse me, it could do some serious multiples on your investment, which I love. I love projects that are like this low in market cap, because yes, a lot of people say high risk, but if you do your due diligence and the dev team is transparent and answering all your questions and stuff, I wouldn't consider it high risk. If you consider it to be a high risk play, don't go into it, because there are low risk, high reward plays. That's like the whole point of crypto and kind of community projects, because the community, the dev team, the Discord, everything, the white paper, in the charts, that is what should be giving you your confidence or lack of confidence in whatever project you're thinking about getting into. So I mean, the fact that it's ran up, it's proven what it can do. It came back down. It's going to be having an L-Bank listing on the 13th. It's going to be doing a lot with their NFTs and everything like that. And the fact that they came out with a device other than a phone or a desktop, which you can use right now to like pet your Shibgotchi, but when they have this device out, I'm assuming it will be something just all around having the most interaction with your Shibgotchi as possible, and the team might even take this technology and offer it to other cryptos, which would be huge. Or maybe even if they said, hey, you can use our technology, but you have to become one of our partners. And the way that looks is we become like a trading pair, essentially, like on one of the swaps, as in like both, when one's listed, both are listed, like just literally a partnership, two different projects, but working for the same goal, which will be to make as much revenue as possible while maintaining your allegiance to the community, because community is what brings these projects. Without community, crypto would be nowhere. We would not have crypto. I'm so happy we do, but that's just the sad truth. If we didn't have community, it would be no crypto. So in my opinion, Shibgotchi, now if you do your due diligence and it looks good for a long term, that's cool. But me, I mean, the fact that it's at 1 million, I see that as a good swing trade when it goes up. But I am going to look more into it, and if it checks all the boxes off for me, then I would consider it for um, a higher conviction on it. And if it's still in the $1 million market cap, once I get my ID, which I've read different sources. Some of them say 1 week, some of them say 3. So I don't know how long it'll take them. Um, but if this project is still on that level and everything is looking good, there's no bad news about them, just pretty much consolidating and waiting to take off, then this is one I would jump into. But again, I have to do my due diligence and make sure everything lines up perfectly as far as the project, its future goals, and where they currently are at in price. Because I believe those are the three big ones. That, and obviously dev team. Dev team is the very, very most important, because you could have an amazing, amazing project with so much utility, something that's just groundbreaking and world revolutionary. But if you have a bad dev and they're just going to do a rug pull, or if they're just basically going to sit back and kind of, I don't know how else to say it, but to half-ass all the projects that they're doing and just say, hey, we're going to come out with this and this and this, and if there's a bug and it doesn't work, oh, screw it. If you don't like it, sell out. And I cannot stand it when dev teams say stuff like that, because it's like, you are the ones that need to give us faith in the project by committing to fulfilling every commitment you make. You have to be transparent, respectful of the project and the community, because a lot of the dev teams, some of them fail all three. Some of them are toxic to the community, fail at everything they're trying to develop, and they're not very transparent. And those projects, not financial advice, but I would not touch them. Like, I wouldn't even get involved in that one, a project like that, for a swing trade, because out of nowhere that liquidity could be gone. There could be, and I know this is highly illegal, but there are crypto projects that say they got hacked and lost all this money, but it's because they had a bot. They had a bot on their side to where when you put your ETH through, it looks like it disappeared, but that is not typically the case. Because if there's ETH floating around, you think the millionaires and billionaires and dev teams that had that ETH sent to them are gonna just let it go? No, they're gonna buy it up, or they're gonna take it, whether it be using a bot, or other nefarious methods, or what they could do if they're really, really bad dev team is just straight up lie. Like, just literally, you try to buy in something, they steal your ETH and say, oh, well, it was an error, or it was a bot, or just whatever, which is very sad, but it does happen. So now, I want to talk to you about Shiba Inu. Now, there's still some FUD circulating around it. I've talked a lot about that using ETH is the best way to go, because if they're using SHIB, people use it, they buy their realty, and whoever has their realty sells it, dumping millions of dollars worth of SHIB and just massacring the charts. So they're not going to do that. But the thing I have to talk to you guys about today, a few things. One, the burns are just increasing and increasing. I mean, we saw a $1 billion burn in a day. Like, to me, that is very impressive because, for example, in March, we only saw 6 billion. And the whole time Stephen Cooper was burning, from like October, he only burnt 1 million or 1 billion, which is awesome. I am not criticizing him at all. I think he did what he needed to do, and sadly, there were a lot of people in the Shiba community who were very toxic towards him and called him a scammer and essentially were attacking his business and reputation. So I understand him backing off. I mean, I even made a video about that, saying if people don't stop, he's going to leave, and that's what happened, which is sad. But again, we have like uh, Shibburn, Shiba, so many different partnerships, now payments, BitPay. We got Shibarium coming up. We got the Shiba lands in the metaverse, the play to earn game, Shiba Net, and more partners like Wellies and John Richmond. Not to mention through now payments and BitPay, that's like hundreds and hundreds of huge companies. Like, just to name a few, like Home Depot, Lowe's, Nordstrom's, Ulta Beauty, GameStop, AMC, a lot of places like that. Even I've heard of even a few car dealerships, which that is very impressive. Because I mean, if they decide to do 10%, and they're selling 40-50,000 cars, they sell 10 at that price point. That burn, depending what number they allocate toward it, could be huge. And for a lot of companies, that's just extra press and notoriety by saying, hey, we're gonna be accepting SHIB, and for this date we're going to burn 9% of all of our profits. So yeah, that could really be huge. But the other thing, or I guess a new piece of information I have for you guys, is okay, ETH wells are back, and in my opinion, bigger than ever. The top 5,000 wallets of ETH wells, their top holding, Shiba Inu. $1.5 billion in SHIB is held by the top 5,000 Ethereum wells, which I think that is huge, because the ETH wells, when they make these huge payments, there's a very good chance they know something that we don't. And it might not be in the next week or two. They could be establishing their position a month ahead of time, which is not a bad thing. Plus, a lot of them like to dollar cost average in. So, for example, buying it when it's at 4 zeros and 30, and then when it goes to 26, buying some more, and then when it goes to about that 22, 23 level where it's been for a good support, they might go even harder on that price. So I really like to see that. And I mean, that in and of itself is huge. And like I said, I believe that proves what I've been saying, that we're just waiting to take off. We're just consolidating. We're being patient. And Shiba Inu is going to pounce. And I believe their next run is going to pass Doge up again, but a lot more than it did last time. And I don't think there will be quite as much back and forth, but at the same time, with Elon Musk joining up with Twitter, buying like 9 point some percent of the company, and then him recommending, the Twitter tips for like Doge and stuff. Like, I mean, not like advice tips, but like, like if you're at a restaurant and you tip someone, something like that. But so I could see Doge having really positive momentum too. And the fact that when Doge goes, Shiba Inu usually chases after it. a Doge catalyst could trigger a run in Shiba Inu. And then if they announce a huge catalyst or even two, coupled with a lot of burn volume, it could be so huge for this project. So I cannot wait to see what happens. But I'm gonna get off here for tonight. I love all you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the support, comments, likes. I'm going to be setting up a texting with either a new phone, or if it seems like it'll be a little bit, I will just give you guys my personal number. Um, because I want to be able to help you guys as much as I can. And since currently I don't have a desktop or a phone that has, a competent voice assistant, like sometimes it'll read me like a corner of the page or just like one thing on it. So it's very, very hard for me to look at all my stuff as far as like on my YouTube, because it's very, very bad when it comes to reading any stuff on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So if I can't get a new phone very soon, I will just give you guys my personal number. That way, if you have any questions, you need any advice, I can get back to you right away. Now, I can't give you financial advice. I can't tell you, yeah, buy this here, buy this, sell this there. I can't do that. But I can tell you 100% what I'm doing, what I would be doing, and I will never recommend you guys to talk to a financial advisor, because those are the people that said, internet was never going to happen, iPhones would never happen. No way we would have watches that we could talk into and keep track of our blood pressure, steps, and 1,000 other things, including like our sleeping patterns. So although anyone who says stuff like that, like it's a scam, whatever, they're just putting a lot of FUD into the market. Don't know why, but we have seen that it's affecting the markets less and less. And when all these institutional investors come in, it'll be unstoppable. But at this point, I would argue that crypto is too big to fail. Like, I don't see this ever failing. It's, a 1.5 or 1.7 trillion dollar asset class. And just a few days ago, it was at 2.6 trillion. It goes down, but it always goes right back up, and it's going to keep going up and make higher highs, make higher highs and higher lows, and it's going to take the whole market off. Like it's going to make the whole market explode, especially projects like Shiba Inu that are held by the top 5,000 ETH wells. Like, that is crazy, and I absolutely love it. And when it takes off, it's going to be so huge. But I'm gonna get off here for tonight, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Buy the dip when you can, and just have a good rest of your night. Love life, love your family, and just relax, because I know that's sometimes nearly impossible to do. But stress really kills. So do what you need to try to avoid that. If it's being with family more, looking at the charts less, whatever it is, just find that way you can have just like a tranquil, peaceful moment. For me, it's usually being outside or being in nature around animals, stuff like that. But whatever is yours, find it, hold on to it, and never let it go. And really, I want this to be a familia. I want to help you guys in any way possible. So just let me know how I can do that. And thank you so much for all the support and kind words. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.